Hi, it looks like our first shot here on the Mackenzie Trail is of an Oregon grape. I guess that's our state flower. Anyway, I wanted to take you for a walk. Whoops, here we go. Up a giant Douglas fir tree. I wanted to show you this tree. It's so cool. This is the Mackenzie River Trail. We're on our way down toward the river, and I wanted to show you this area because I love it so much. When I was about 12 years old, my mother, stepdad, and I took a trip down the highway of the Mackenzie River, and we drove through this area. And for years later, my mother raved about the beauty of this area. You see, she was from Illinois and moved to Oregon in the Dells, which is dry a lot of the year. It isn't green like this. It isn't forested. It can be beautiful in the springtime when the fruit trees are blooming, but the rest of the year is pretty brown. So when she saw this, it was just feast for her eyes. And so I heard about the Mackenzie River Trail for many years afterwards. And when I discovered it myself, I love it just as much. So here we go. We're walking down the trail. Coming here, we drove through about 30 miles of burnt out forest, and luckily, thank heavens, it stopped short of this area. But about 200,000 acres were burnt about the first of this past year. So we're hoping for a fast recovery here. But it was strange as we were driving through that you could see the pattern of the fire, and it would just miss some of the houses. It would go around them. It would burn the forest. It was just amazing that the pattern of it, and how some people were spared and some people lost their homes. I can't account for it, but here we are talking about the law of attraction. Although I have mentioned before that I have some trouble with the word, and I don't know why, because it's very popular with some people, and I figured if someone wants to hear about it, they'd like to hear what I have to say. But for some reason or other, I guess I have this feeling that it will wear out, or we like the unusual, the unique, the fun, the new things. Like I wish I was funny, because funny is entertaining, and it's a surprise. We just like to be surprised. And so as I talk about, hi Sweet Pea, as I continue to talk about the law of attraction, I think of another walk that my daughter and I do most every evening. We take her dog and my little dog for a walk down the street, which isn't a trail as beautiful as this, but it's a walk for the dogs. And we often talk about the law of attraction. And her son thinks it's a bunch of hooey, so she keeps coming up that, well, what about it? What can we say about it? How does it work? And maybe both of us have. I certainly have come to the conclusion, not the conclusion, that there are certain laws that work in physics. Like for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so I think, well, maybe there are laws, you could call them spiritual laws if you want, that are sort of like behind the scenes, behind physics. Well, I guess that's the reason they call it metaphysics. It's beyond physics. We can't understand it yet. But we have some evidence or some experience that tells us that this works, that the rich get rich, the poor get poorer. I don't know why that is true, except one's consciousness is aimed in a certain direction. And it appears that we attract things to us. They just come, and normally it's done unconsciously. And what most people that talk about the law of attraction are trying to do it consciously. Look at that ground cover. Isn't that beautiful? Someone had to cut the logs to make room for us to get past this path. Where was I? I was talking about, I'm distracted from the beauty here, the green. I'm so glad this area wasn't burnt. That was a sad fire. But look at here, we're walking between a break in the log. I want to continue to investigate this phenomenon that we have going on in our lives. My daughter pointed out that it isn't necessarily nice people that get the most. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with nice, although if you're a integral person, you want to do, you don't want to break the law, and you don't want to harm people, but you just want to live your life, and you want to focus on the things you want. That reminds me, I heard the other day something about gratefulness is different from appreciation. Now, I appreciate this. I could say I'm grateful for it, but I had nothing to do with it. I just appreciate that nature is there, that it was saved, that we can walk down this trail. But when you say, and I've focused on being grateful as well, because there are certain things I'm grateful for. It gets kind of mixed up, but it was pointed out to me that there was a difference. There's a different feeling. Appreciation is just open, receptive, saying, I love this area. This is just wonderful. Gratefulness sounds almost like, oh, thank you. Don't know if I'm worthy of this, but I'm so thankful for it. Or just say, I'm grateful for the breeze on my face. I'm grateful for the sandwich we had for lunch. I'm grateful for the car that we had to drive to this area. I'm grateful for the gas in the car. It's like I'm grateful for a lot of things. I'm grateful for my home back in Eugene. I don't really live in Eugene. I live in Junction City. But I see we're getting close here. Oh, my goodness. Oh, we're to the river already. Well, hey, I was chatting along and missed the whole thing. Here we are. Here's the Mackenzie River. Isn't that something? Oh. Just pause and soak it in.